Hello and very warm welcome everyone. It's Marta back again with another video tutorial, my friends. This video tutorial is requested from a friend. On one of my last tutorials, I've asked you if there is any dye or supply which is troubling you, like you've bought something and then you have no idea how to use it. And one of the comments which was left by my friend Paulina, she mentioned she has this circle die which has a smaller circle which are divided into parts, something I was trying to draw to show you. And I actually don't have this particular die, but I thought, let me just try to recreate it and then come up with some ideas what I can do if I had this die. And this is another great example of that, that not always if we see something we always have to like rush to the shop and buy it straight away, because sometimes there are ways which can help us to imitate something, to kind of a fake the die or a project without using the exact same tools, which is also something which improves our creativity. Remember that anytime you choose other way around, rather than going through the shortcuts, you're trying to figure it out something on your own, you are helping the strength, the muscles of your creativity. So here's what I did to achieve the similar look to the die which was described by Paulina. I've cut 3 circles from different color cardstock, which they're very pale, but believe me, there are some distinction in between them. The one in the middle is a little bit like a sage color. It's very pale green, but they're all looking slightly different. I thought I'm gonna be creating a nice lightweight pastel color tone card. So that's why I choose those bits. And I've cut 3 circles in different sizes. I think I kept one die in between the layers, so I had every second die to have slightly larger frame. And then I secure them very well using this masking tape in few positions. You can see here that I've got the tape quite, regularly put around the circles, just so they're not gonna be falling apart once I'm gonna be cutting them. And now I am just trying to chop them up into the pieces. As Paulina described, there was a circular die and it was divided into like different shapes inside. So I'm guessing that this is what she meant. And if you have this die, you can create the project easier way using the die. But if you don't have it, then you can also, participate in this fun activity and create the card, which will be looking like it was created with the help of the die. So I'm just quickly sorting those pieces, trying to puzzle them back. And you can see here the idea behind this die set. If you've got this die, of course, you've got way more possibilities, because you will be able to create those like a frames and have this aperture opening, which then you can turn into like little shakers or something. There's so many different things you can do. You can use this whole spread as a mini album to put some favorite photos and create like a memory layout with the album, like with the photos of the kids or something, or summer memories. There's so many things. What you can also do, you can take this top circle, which is divided into smaller pieces, use some nice paper design with some like a larger image, and then cut it into the pieces and put them this way. But what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna go outside the box and try to refigure out what else you can do apart from this regular use, which you will know, like once you have the set, there's always some examples of using it. So what I'm doing here, I'm taking those larger bits, which are like this half quarter of the circle shape, I would say, and then I am trying to put them into like a fan shape. So I have this like little pieces going into the design, and this is a great use for scrap papers. If you've got some colorful scraps of paper, you can use them out, create this nice figure, and then place something on top, and you will have this beautiful image. Or you can go the whole fun, like the whole round shape like I'm doing here, and then place this piece across this middle part, so you could have the sentiment. And if you will emboss these pieces, give them a little bit more dimension, you will have very interesting look on your card. However, for my card, I've decided to do something a little bit different, because remember about this, if you've got the die set, you're not always have to use the whole set like as it's intended to be. Try to see what else you can come up with. So I'm just gonna use the small part of it, and then I cut myself a strip of the paper. I believe it was like 3.5 inches or like 9 centimeters wide. It doesn't really matter as much. I just kind of eyeball it, and then I'm placing it on my scoring board, and I'm scoring it every half a centimeter or quarter of the inch. Not very like large spaces. I want to have them small, because I'm gonna be creating this kind of a metal looking ornament, which is like this, a kind of a piece which are reminding like a rosette. Oh, I was looking for that word in my head, but it's not gonna be fully round, it's just gonna be like a half of the rosette I'm creating. And I'm gonna place it on one side of the card, and then on another side I'm just gonna use the pieces from the circular die, so that will give me this nice and interesting unusual focal point. To bring more interest to the elements, I am taking each one of those layers, and I've got 3 of them, and I'm using my scissors to distress the edges. This will help the paper to appear more thicker, and it will also give this nice distress, interesting texture to the paper. For this middle color section, which is the sage paper, I am enhancing the color even more, and I've grabbed this South Patina color from Distress Oxide ink, and I'm just going over the edges, slightly, darkening them up, but I still would choose the lighter color paper and go with the ink rather than cutting it from the plain darker color paper, because that way I have this depth into my paper, because there's a difference between the color. The edge is more darkened than the center part of the card. And then I am placing, I am using some texture stamp. I've got this stamp with the text, and I am just stamping it few times just so I could have the interest to this piece as well. Obviously there is another piece on top of that, but you can still see through from underneath. You've got like a quarter of the inch of this piece visible all around this little shape, so you can still see the texture and this background stamp which I use. Now I'm just gonna be creating some matte and layer for the card base, because as you know, I like my card to be like fully done. I don't like to add the elements just to the plain card base, because I think it's just looking nicer if you've got some layers underneath. And I use the same very pale this kind of a sage color looking paper, and I am distressing it with the scissors exactly the same way as I did on these elements, and I am following the same step by darkening the edges with the distress ink, and then I will use the stamp just to add the this text, but only to the border area. I'm not concentrating on the center of the card because it's gonna be covered up anyway, but I just want to have everything to look nice, matching, like the whole concept will be cohesive because we are repeating the same elements over and over, and that's what makes the card look very nice, neat, and give that luxurious finish. I cut a piece of the white cardstock, and I especially left it longer before to cut it the last bit after I emboss it, because if you use the large embossing folder, your paper can shrink a little bit, so it's better to leave it slightly longer and then cut off this last bit after you emboss it. Now I'm just gonna be adding a little bit of the embossing powder. And my friends, I didn't thought of it when I was starting the card. I actually uh, only had this like little simple idea what roughly I want to do, but I wasn't sure about the colors, about how to embellish it, how to finish it off. And then halfway through I thought, this white and sage, it's nice, but it's definitely too pale and it's requires something else. So with the help came the gold embossing powder, which is a great solution to almost everything. If you've got the card, it's looking plain, try to play with either gold or silver embossing, and I guarantee it to you that this little bits of sparkle, they will put your card up to the next level. So here is what I did. I embossed the text on these little pieces, and I wasn't very neat, I wasn't very clean. Some of the text is overlapping and I'm absolutely fine with it. This is just add to this distress look, and it's just make it looks really nice. And then I add the distress this embossing ink to this little rosette, and now I thought, this card is still looking too light. So what I come up with, I decided to do double embossing, and I'm using the brayer on top of the embossed piece. I like to use the brayer rather than smooshing the ink, because if you've got this large opening areas as I have here, it would be very hard to not add the ink to those white squares, and even with the brayer you can see I've got a little bit mess here and there, but this is very easy to clean, and I do believe that using the brayer instead of smooshing the ink pad directly, this will give you 10 times better result, and your embossing on top of embossing is always much nicer and neater if you would then just try to smoosh the ink pad, which is, it's soft, so it's very easy to get the ink to the areas where we don't want it, and the brayer will just help you to add the ink to those rice bits only. Now I am using this leftover piece from the cardboard, and I've been using it over and over again. I still have got probably like one more piece enough for use for another card, but it's cheap, it's free, so why not use it? And now I am placing this colored paper, and on top of that I'm just gonna add the layer with the embossing, and I'm raising it with this cardboard. That way I have this nice dimension to this front panel, but also the sturdiness. The cardboard, it really helps the card to stay nice and straight, and they no more bending. If your paper, like you create the card, you put lots of layers and they are slightly bending, the cardboard will be solution to it. I'm trying to fold my rosette so it's gonna be like half a circle, and then I'm adding the hot glue and placing a little a circle. It doesn't have to be circle, it's just scrap piece of the paper, something to hold it in place, and I've got this beautiful, like almost like a fan looking design from the paper. Now I am placing two bottom layers, and I will place my rosette in between the layers, so the bottom layers, they're gonna stay flat, almost flat on the card, and then the other one I'm just going to adhere them. And then again, for this pieces with the embossed text on the top, which are made from the lightweight paper, this design paper, it's very, like, I think it's like a 160 GSM or even less, a 120 probably. It's not very thick, so it's easy for these pieces to get warp, and I'm strengthening them up with the cardboard, and now I can place them on top of my rosette. and to help those pieces so they're not gonna be, crooked on the card, because there's a difference in between the levels on the top of the rosette and on the other side. I'm adding the rich layer of the double-sided foam tape. I think it's like a 6 layers, just so I have this like a level surface to attach them. And you can see here they stand nicely, and this card, it has a very unusual look. It's something different. It's something which will, easily catch the eye of the recipient, and it's something unusual. So I'm super happy that I've decided to play with this design, even though I didn't have the die. I was thinking for a minute, like, shall I, take this on board, because I don't really have the die. But then I was like, Marta, what stops you? Like, you can always try and see where it will take you. So be brave. If you see something and you don't have it, just have a little think, and go on to creative journey, experiment, and you will see you're not gonna be, disappointed by the result. And then you can also discover something else. I did had in the past few other happy accidents, and they lead me to very, exciting discoveries. And I've just, came across new techniques and new things to use in my craft room. So I always encourage you to, be playful and be courageous if what you're doing. And if it's not gonna work out, then you also get the knowledge of the things are not working out, and you've got that experience for a future. Uh, to embellish the front of the card, I thought like, I want to use a larger element. And I realized I have this butterfly, and this is probably like 3 or 4 years old butterfly that was in the crafting magazine. That was a freebie from Simply Cards and Paper Craft. I'm not sure which issue was that. I don't remember that, and I would have to have a look. But it's anything, any larger element like a butterfly or a dragonfly or something with the wings will be great here, because that will give you this nice dimension. And I just thought, oh, it's matching here great. But when I put this butterfly, I just thought, this is looking too plain, and I actually want to risk and add a little tiny bit of the color. And I thought, for this tealish aqua mint color paper I've created, it will be good to join it a little bit of the pink. I wonder if it's gonna be give more life to this composition, and boy, I was right. As soon as I add this pink color ink, the whole composition become much more like vivid, I would say, and I just love it. And then I realized I've got a couple of those enamel dots, which I can also use their very pale pink color tone. So I thought they will give this nice finish to my cards. So these are, even though they are self-adhesive, I don't trust this to stay in a place. So I'm just going over with the hot glue and making sure they will stay for good, and my card is finished. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you had this fun time together with me, experimenting and trying to create something else, something nice. If you've got another dies or elements which are you think you would like to see more inspiration, please let me know in a comment. And of course, say hi. It would be nice, very nice for me if you give a like if you enjoy it, and share it with your friends. That was my card for today. Thank you so very much, everyone, for supporting my channel and being here, and I hope to see you shortly. Have a wonderful day, everyone, and bye bye.